Coming up, Meta's fixed a thing.
You're listening to Double Tap, your daily accessible technology show. Now, here's your hosts, Stephen Scott and Shaun Priest.
Hey guys, welcome along to another episode of Double Tap. Shaun Priest, how are you doing this fine day?
I'm annoyed at you, Stephen Scott, even though that was one of the more upbeat coming up intros that you did there. I still got a sense that you're still not happy.
Once they reinstate the native Windows app fully the way I like it, just for me
and
those who like it.
Until then, are you?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm protesting. I'm going to get a placard that says, down with that, more of the other thing.
Stop
down with the web, more apps. That's what I say. No, look, okay, they have fixed a thing. They have. The WhatsApp app finally last night was released. Or the beta went, whatever they say when it goes from beta to alpha, I guess.
Alpha's before beta.
The update came through is basically what happened. And the update has now fixed the issue that we were having. So, good news.
Well, yeah. Tell your voice that, Stephen. Hooray!
I'm happy about it. I'm happy about it.
Yeah, I got a few messages last night when the update was released, and people are very happy about it. Do you know what, though? What was the problem? Because I actually swerved this issue because a couple of people had told me and warned me about it, so I stopped the automatic updates on my iPhone and did not update to that version. So I didn't actually, I think, experience this problem. So I saw a post and a couple of conversations on Facebook with people flagging this problem. But they were saying it was different because didn't you say, I'm going to point this directly at you, Stephen Scott, didn't you say...
It was my fault.
This problem was mainly when you locked the audio recording?
Yes.
Okay. Now that wasn't flagged in some of the conversations I read. It was just you couldn't double tap and hold anymore, but that wasn't the case.
No, you can. You could double tap and hold. The issue was you couldn't let go. So when you were double tap and holding, and you, as I would do, some people just are happy to just hold on to the screen essentially and just.
That's what I do.
Yeah, and that's fine. Can't do that, especially for my 8-minute long messages every single time.
Yes.
My finger would break. So.
Shorten it up a little bit.
I think you could argue that, but it's not going to happen.
Okay.
So I like sending long messages. I like filling up WhatsApp's servers with just absolute nonsense. But no, you could do the double tap and hold gesture. You could keep your finger on the screen, and you could let go or not let go. What would you do at that point? Would you just let go to send?
You would let go to send. Yeah, that's how I use it.
I don't really use that particular function. I always do double tap hold, and then swipe up to lock and let go.
I don't like that. See, there's two users of WhatsApp I've found. Those
the holders and the let goers.
Release and send, and those lockers. And those lockers, when they lock that audio, you're in for the night. Yeah, okay, fair enough. So that wasn't working.
Well, the issue was that when you did swipe up and let go, the focus would be lost and you couldn't get back to the send button because it wasn't available on screen.
Right.
And it was interesting. I saw people saying, oh, it's easy enough. You just turn on screen recognition and you'll find the button. Well, I could find the button, but I couldn't action it. I double tapped on it. Nothing happened. So
really?
That didn't really work for me either. I know some people said it worked for them, didn't work for me. So, that was a real issue. The only way I could really send a message once starting to record it, and it was becoming really irritating, double tap, hold, swipe up, lock, turn voiceover off, and then kind of hover my finger around the bottom right of the screen and just hope I'm tapping on the right bit.
So
ridiculous. So ridiculous.
So strange. People don't know the acrobats you've got to do.
I know.
When you're a screen reader user.
And it's all these sighted folks. Oh, you just press and hold the thing. That's like, yeah. No, you don't. That's not how it works. I'm sorry.
But it's all lovely now on WhatsApp on the iPhone. In fact, isn't it been improved somewhat?
I think so. So a lot of people still saying, the double tap and holds, issues around double tap and hold or whatever. You don't actually need to do it anymore. And this is brilliant news. This is the best news to come out of it. Yeah, well, look, we found this in the beta, or I didn't have the beta to try this, but other people were noticing that there was a new way to send a voice message, which is almost perfect. A simple double tap. That's it. All you have to do now is go to the voice message button, double tap on it, it starts recording. You don't have to double tap, hold, swipe, any of that. The recording starts, it immediately focuses now on the send button. Once you're done, you double tap, done. That's it, send. That's much better.
It's almost like a toggle now. Double tap to start recording, and double tap to send.
Which,
stop and send.
For people like myself, I'm thinking, I love using my keyboard. with my phone. I couldn't ever really send a voice message on WhatsApp that way. Now I can. It's going to make me use WhatsApp more. I love it. Thank you,
great.
Meta. Well done.
Thanks, Meta.
No, seriously,
my
this
voice.
is good. This is great. And, I mean, I don't know if they have perhaps drifted away from that double tap and hold approach. I thought it was a bit of a weird gesture anyway. And like I say, it was never something you could really easily recreate with any keyboard shortcut.
Double tap and hold is difficult.
It is. And, physically it's challenging for people who, want to do that. Double tap and holding if you've got any issues with your hands or any issues with your fingers or any of that kind of thing, dexterity or issues there, like I do and many others do, that's a really difficult gesture to do. If you can just double tap on the screen, or with a keyboard, you can just do the magic tap gesture. Great.
Hang on. Magic tap? Is that different? Can you do a magic tap to start recording?
Well, sorry, am I saying magic tap? I mean
yes,
double
yes.
tap.
If you can do the double tap or the activation gesture,
yes.
I'm guessing would do the
same. So
same
you hold
thing.
down plus and down, up arrow and down arrow. You hold it together on the keyboard. Yeah.
I have no idea. I don't use the keyboard very often. I always find the lock gesture slightly weird. But I tell you what, I really don't like. If you're recording an audio message and you get so far in and you think, this is utter nonsense that I'm talking, I want to cancel it. And it was swipe to the left to cancel recording, right?
Yeah.
Is that still, how does that work with the new way of just double tapping the record message button?
Well, your focus goes straight to the send button, so you would just swipe left again to get to the cancel button.
Ah, right. Okay.
Nothing's changed really in that sense. I mean, in some ways, this is even easier.
Yeah, no, I like that. Because, as ever, sometimes you find your finger is not in a place where you can swipe enough to the left. Does that make sense? So you haven't got enough real estate left to swipe to the left. I really don't want to send this.
Well, that's why I don't like the double tap and hold gesture. I feel I actually feel more locked in by the app. I'm under pressure. I feel a clock ticking in my head. It's like, the music is rising. I have to send this message. It's all garbage. So I don't have to worry about that with double tap and hold and lock and all that. But now I don't have to do that.
I know you got particularly annoyed when we were talking about WhatsApp on Windows. And I understand it because I love WhatsApp. It is my number one messaging app. And while I'm saying that, come on iMessage. Trying to send an audio message on iMessage is an absolute... it's just so difficult. It's awful. Mm-hmm. Apps, audio, and then you got to find the send button. And for some reason now, trying to get focus back onto your message list or trying to find that send, stop recording and send button, it becomes really difficult. So iMessage for me is totally out. WhatsApp is my main communication now.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know because I know it's not taken up as widely in the States.
Really?
I know the US, there's very few people use it in America. Less people use WhatsApp than certainly outside of the US, which is interesting to me. I say very few people use it. Of course, lots of people use
Billions.
it, but it's not. Yeah, I don't think it's used in the same way. It tends to be iMessage. I think this is why this whole green bubble versus blue bubble conversation tends to emanate from the States.
Yeah, no one
because
else cares.
They all use iMessage, and not being on iMessage or not being on iPhone really stands out. Whereas
Strange.
we don't care, because it's completely platform agnostic to some degree, accessibility-wise, maybe not. So I'm with you on this. I mean, the reason I got so annoyed yesterday, and I do appreciate Ian who got in touch with me yesterday on WhatsApp to say, please don't have a heart attack.
Yes.
I felt fine yesterday. I just had a lot to say. And honestly, and I appreciate the concern, I do, but I was fine. But I do get passionate about this because, like you say, I love using this app. And I think it's two things for me. It's the amount of constant learning you have to do, in an audible environment in my case. And I'm not brilliant with this. I mean, auditory processing is something which I don't think many people talk about either. This kind of, it's kind of a given. Oh, well, I'm blind now, so I just listen to everything. But what if you don't take information in well that way? Or what if you can't? What if you struggle with that? And I do. I don't know why, but I just do. And I don't think I'm alone. And
no, I don't think so.
I think there's a lot of people who struggle to kind of, I know in the initial stages, in the initial stages of learning assistive tech, because you're having to listen and you're almost over listening. You're listening to every single word the screen reader's saying and you're trying to visualize. And that's the problem. You're kind of playing that game of, well, that should be there. So therefore, and you're kind of, trying to predict where things are going to be next. And then it doesn't come up that way. And you think, oh, what happened there? And so, it's a constant fight in your mind. And it takes time, but as you get used to that, that's okay. But then you get used to something. You get used to a way of doing it. You feel comfortable with it. And then suddenly it's, okay, we have this whole new interface you have to learn. And even if it's just a little change, like with the chapter markers, right? Yes. Someone was saying to me the other day, a sighted person said to me the other day, oh, it's easy enough. They're just there. They're just right there. They're just below the show notes. And I'm like, yeah, because you can just do one little swipe and see them.
Yep.
But for us, that's swipe, right, swipe through all this nonsense to get to, our wonderful show notes, to get to the chapter markers. And, for a lot of people, it's like you may as well have placed the chapter markers on the moon because you've moved them. I mean, first off, you need to know they're there. We can't see that. We can't just glance at it to see that.
Yeah.
So we just think they're gone, right? You always know the show notes were there. They were always there. You wouldn't think that, maybe they're after the show notes. Not everyone's going to just assume that. So, again, it's that thing of, oh, that's broken now, or that doesn't work now, or that's just not, or it's too far. It's just too far to go. And I get it. I get that. And that's the frustration I feel sometimes. It's like, so today, because we got a lot of YouTube comments on yesterday's show, and I wanted to dig into them. I really feel bad sometimes we don't dig in to the YouTube comments that we get. And I know loads of you do send comments, and I appreciate them. But I found it very difficult to get to the comments and then understand the names.
Yes.
Because nothing's camel case, as they say, where where all the words are have the first letter capitalized.
Yeah, that's right.
So you get some weird, pronunciations.
Well, you got to go back through and go by character, haven't you? That's what you got to do for each name.
Yeah, so we did hear from Doug, and I'm assuming names here a little bit because I'm kind of going by what I can read off this and character by character, but I think Doug got in touch to say he's 100% behind this. He said, it's not a case of, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he said, respect is earned, not given, which I think is a really good point when it comes to these companies like Meta and Google and Microsoft and all the rest. You can't, we can't just assume that everything's going to be great or just welcome anything that comes and then we'll fix it later and take that as an excuse.
Yep.
I don't think that's fair. And Blue Wings was kind of equally as feeling, I think, the way I felt, which was very much that, it's not good enough. This is not good enough, what's going on. And I'm talking now,
Stephen. They were behind you. I'm with Stephen, I believe, was the common phrase through this. And as you said, respect is earned, really, because the track record when it comes to reacting to beta feedback hasn't been great.
No. Well, I want to start there because we've got a lot of feedback to get through. I want to dive in with Scott because his first comment here, I think, is really vital in this conversation because he was part of that beta group. Let's hear from Scott.
G'day, Shaun and Stephen. Scott from Sydney, Australia here. I just wanted to make some comments on the WhatsApp betas and this new web wrapper that you blokes mentioned on the show this morning or today. Look, I have to agree with Stephen in the fact that I'm one of the people, along with others, we told WhatsApp about the iOS app pushing out the version in the beta cycle where the app was going to break. And as you guys know, I'm not going to rehash all that. Until you gentlemen stepped in, we would still have an inaccessible voice messages button. Now, I know somebody who's struggling at the moment because you've got to keep that button held down. And this particular gentleman only has the use of one hand. So he can't lock his record button and it's a struggle. And I completely understand where this gentleman's coming from. Yet, as Stephen rightly says, this new web wrapper that's in beta, for all the people who have purchased Brian's scripts, which are excellent scripts. I'm one of those who purchased them, and I really appreciate Brian's efforts. I don't know if Brian will be able to script this web wrapper once available. In the past, having used Windows Universal apps, they're not that great. I've used many of them, and you're using the constant tab key everywhere. And it's very painful it's you can't zip through an interface like the current WhatsApp Windows version, which is a really nice app, and the same on the Mac. So I don't know what's going to happen. And I know Meta do have an accessibility phone number in the US, which I don't have here right now. I haven't called this particular number to speak to anyone because I really don't know where it's going to go. But they do have a number to an accessibility team, supposedly. But if it's anything like the support address, there's no hope. It's very disappointing that these companies are just pushing things out, giving no thought to accessibility at all. Because if they did, we would have been able to stop that beta being, or the public release being pushed out. And we wouldn't probably be having this discussion. Or we might, because of the testing of the web wrapper. But it's very disappointing. Another app is going to be having a web wrapper. And yeah, from the past, they're not accessible. Let's take another example. 1Password. I used to like the Windows version of 1Password. Now they've gone to the Electron code base. Yeah, it's usable, but again, many of us emailed 1Password and they kept telling us, yep, we definitely do have accessibility in mind. And to their credit, they have made it mostly accessible. But to be fair, I actually went over to Bitwarden because I paid for 1Password. It was taking far too long to become accessible with the new Electron Windows version. And I couldn't wait any longer. And I just hope that Windows and other things are not going to go this way. Because if they do, it's going to be a very, very bad experience for the blind and vision impaired and other disabilities moving forward. We can't predict what's going to happen in the future. But yeah, as Stephen rightly says, every day something changes for the worse. My last comment, what is the point of having beta testers? You report things to these companies and they get ignored, as Stephen rightly says. I can understand where Shaun's coming from as well. I'm at the point where I don't really want to beta test anymore. There's no point. Your feedback goes nowhere. It just goes into a black hole. And it seems that it's just a waste of our time. But at the same time, if we don't advocate for accessibility, we'll be left behind. Thanks very much, gentlemen. I hope you guys have a great day, and thanks very much for listening to the feedback. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you. And I really
Scott.
wanted to play that in full because there's a lot he said there. And obviously Scott was part of that beta group as well, advising Meta on the upcoming issues on the WhatsApp iOS app. So really important to hear his take on all of this. What's your take on that? Because I'm really intrigued to hear your reaction to that.
There's nothing I can argue against. Everything he said is absolutely true. I think, look, this is something we keep coming back to time and time again, is that it's almost a catch-22. I mean, we take part, people take the time to take part in the beta testing and then take time to, give the feedback about any accessibility issues. And you feel like you're getting nothing coming back to you. And, then we have things like, Global Accessibility Awareness Day and how accessibility is so important to these companies and what a difference they're making. But we feel like we're not listened to. And it's not just for accessibility as well, for everything, for any bug. I just think, where's the transparency? Where's these open communications with all these companies? We should have such a better way of communicating, ticket systems or whatever it may be. Why is it this is all so behind closed doors? Like they're so afraid to admit, oh yeah, there is a problem here. Let's see if we can fix it. I can totally understand how people say, you know what, they're just not listening anyway. And yet, when we talk to people, Stephen, when we talk to people who work in these departments, these companies, it's so important. We are listening. We are listening. You know what? Well, we need that feedback as well to say we hear you. It's just frustrating.
I'm almost at the stage. I think I don't care about them saying we hear you. I just want them to fix the issues. Fix it. Show us what you're doing. Show it by actions, not by words.
Show your workings.
Yeah,
because it's not always as easy just to jump on the developer side just for a second. It's not as easy sometimes to say, okay, quick fix, we forgot to do this. Yes, unlabeled element may be, but there may be some real deep-seated kernel level technical reason why something cannot just be, I'll fix that now. But at the same time, if they acknowledge it and say, yeah, we recognize this problem and here's the roadmap, here's the game plan, how we're going to tackle this, it makes all the difference.
I mean, you almost think, well, if the accessibility isn't making headlines, this would be my thinking, right? If the accessibility updates or workings don't make headlines, the bigger stuff makes the headlines, it's all the flashy new features, then what's the harm in them coming out and saying, okay, this isn't working, to even a private group of testers or a group of people who, this can be messaged out to? Because, if it doesn't matter, then it really doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? If it's like, if it doesn't matter about the accessibility because it can just be pushed to later, and let's be honest, that's what I was kind of getting it on my high horse about yesterday, is that, these apps can just be let out there without the accessibility features checked or considered or thought about. If that doesn't matter, and it would appear it doesn't, okay, across the board, and that's not Meta, that's everybody, frankly, that's any developer, any company. If it can come out without accessibility built in at the start, and that's, it's coming later, or we'll deal with it, or we'll fix it, then surely then you can come to us at least and tell us what the issues are and the roadmap is. What are you letting out the bag? Because you're showing us where you think accessibility is. It's not going to end up on the front page of the New York Times.
No, that's right.
No one's going to be jumping up and down. The Verge aren't going to talk about it. The Wired isn't going to talk about it. TechCrunch, Mobile Syrup, they're not going to be writing their stories about this because they don't.
The only exception would have been the Sonos app, which I did see some talk about accessibility. But that was almost, it was
a sideline.
It's a sideline, yeah. It's affecting the mainstream users, but also, did you also know it's affecting accessibility?
It's never, we're never the headline.
No, that's very true.
Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Very true. And it is important. I know I was saying this is beta, so let's wait until it's officially released, but that doesn't stop the anxiety. I rely on WhatsApp, right? It's part of my workflow. So if I come in next week and, it's been pushed through the official launch, we're out of beta, and it's inaccessible and it slows me down and it takes me 10 minutes to try and send a message, that makes me anxious. I want to know, yes, we've heard about these accessibility issues and here's the plan. I want to know that.
Well, I would also like a company to turn around and say, this would be the best thing to hear, right? We've identified a number of accessibility bugs. We're not releasing an update until this is fixed.
Oh, yeah, that would be
Wouldn't
the
that
dream.
be I don't think I've ever heard that by anybody, any company. It's always, we're aware of the accessibility issues, but we'll deal with that. Meanwhile, here's the new release.
Yeah.
That's what I hear. And that's where we're getting fed up. That's where I think there's...
It's a really good point.
And it's funny because I saw someone on Mastodon this morning, and again, I see a lot of people on Mastodon who are very techie, very smart people, and, in the thread of conversations that I've been sort of brought into, I see a lot of people saying, it's just a bunch of moaners and whingers, let's see what it's like first. Kind of alluding to what you were saying, maybe not as harshly yesterday, but you were kind of saying similar. Well, let's see what it's like. It might be okay.
Yes.
And it's like, but that's not really the point I'm making. The point I'm making is that based on all the evidence, if I was a lawyer and I was looking to find evidence on a case, I'd be swamped in evidence in this particular case.
You can't look at prior, Stephen Scott. That's not allowed.
I'm changing the law. But, that's the point, right? Because, you can see so much evidence of products that have come out with a promise of fixing a bug once it's been identified when it was already identified beforehand. And that's the issue for us. That's the problem we have. So it's hard to look at it. Even if it comes out and it's fully accessible, which of course I hope it is, it kind of doesn't miss the point, though. It doesn't take away from the point. that, you know, we don't just sit like everyone else and go, oh, that'll be fun when it comes out. Or, oh, they've changed it to a web view. That'll be interesting to look at. Oh, it looks nice.
Yes. Can I actually use
this thing?
Yeah. Yeah. It's totally different. Do you know what, though? It would be good to hear back from any beta testers out there who have been, you know, testing the new WhatsApp. Have you received any feedback? What's the feedback you've received? Is it all the standard automated response? Thank you for your feedback. We will, you know, it's been noted or whatever. Or has there actually been any personalized feedback, any response to your points directly? I would love to know that.
Yeah, it would be interesting to know
because
that.
it's so rare. It's so unique when you get that. I remember when Microsoft introduced the feedback hub into Windows, and for a few times there, it was almost like I was having a, you know, personal one-on-one email with a support worker. It was absolutely amazing. It's so rare, but it's so nice when that does happen.
Yeah, it doesn't happen often enough. That's the problem.
No, it doesn't.
Let's hear from Gordon.
Can I just say, Stephen, I really enjoyed your rant, and I'm absolutely with you on this one. Shaun has been far too optimistic. I was appalled when I read that news about Meta changing the WhatsApp. Do you remember how bad the web app on the MacBook was in WhatsApp? It was awful. It's not that it's much better now, but no, I'm completely with you on this one. Excellent rant, and more of that. Thank you very much.
More of that. Okay, we'll get the placards out. More of that. Thank you, Gordon.
I didn't push this on yesterday's show. The Mac WhatsApp app. Is that going to be affected by this? Is that standalone? Is that web-based? What's the score there on Mac?
We have reached out to Meta to clarify this because there was no clarification that the story that came out focused on the native Windows app. It did not mention anything about the Mac app at all. But it wouldn't be a huge surprise if that's where it goes. Because if they're building a single code base for a single app, then I imagine it will be exactly the same. Some would argue that's maybe a good thing, because if it is working well on Windows, then it will be the same experience on Mac. And the Mac experience hasn't been great with WhatsApp. It's only very recently that I've noticed it actually start to improve a little bit, and I've had to do a little bit of personalization, shall we say, by using the activities function of VoiceOver to basically get, to kind of make it work for me, create window spots, create specific areas, put, hotkeys or hot spots on certain buttons so I can very quickly jump around. I've almost like leased my way through WhatsApp on the Mac, because that's what you have to do if you want to use it efficiently. Again, it comes back to this point, and now we're talking about the WhatsApp on Windows side of things, because now iOS is fixed. That's great. I mean, let's hope that this noise we've made has, got through to someone. I highly doubt it again, but I'll be hopeful.
Well, I would love to send your rant yesterday to Meta Accessibility.
Yeah, please do. Mm-hmm. Please do send it. I don't care. Look, I mean, I'm not out to hurt people. I'm not out to offend people.
No, we just want to be heard.
Be heard, be listened to, and be at least a bit appreciated that we're customers as well.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to think if there was something wrong with the app that affected a whole bunch of the mainstream, it would be fixed in minutes. How many advocates have said that over the years? If there was an issue where your iPhone screen just turned off like every 10 minutes, you don't think Apple would issue
anyway. We'll come back to that.
Yeah. You don't, and they knew, and even worse, that's right, if they knew it was going to happen, and they just said, we'll issue it, and then put a note out saying, it'll be fixed in a week or two. Can you imagine? Every newspaper, every TV channel, stocks and shares would plunge.
Screen reader users can still use it though, so it's fine. Don't worry about it.
That's the upside. If the screen goes off, who cares?
Can you imagine? Yeah, well, it just wouldn't happen, right? That's kind of the point. And going back to the universal code base, it should be, we both agreed, we understand why that's appealing. One code base to maintain, fantastic. But how does that work? Does that mean iOS is going to switch over to a web wrapper? I mean, because I'm assuming
that's an interesting point. Yeah.
The Mac OS, I'm assuming it's running something called Catalyst, I believe, which basically can run the same sort of code that the from the iPhone anyway. So I'm assuming that's the Mac and iOS is basically the same code base.
Well, that's interesting. Now you're saying that, I'm thinking about the fact that didn't they just launch a WhatsApp app as well on iPad? They
did, yeah.
So I'm wondering if there's. I guess they can't then be creating one single app, right? They must be creating one for the Apple ecosystem, one for Windows.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's maybe where they're going, and that could potentially be used in Chromebook or whatever else. That might be the way they're doing it, actually, now I think about it.
Oh, it's so confusing.
It's confusing, It's
Do you
confusing.
know what, though? There is that fear about web apps, and I'm confused why that is. Because if you look at applications, web-based applications, they've become so powerful, right? I mean, how we're recording this show, we use a service
use a
called
web app,
Riverside.
yeah. We're using a website.
All through a website, right? Web apps have become absolutely amazing through the internet connections that a lot of people have now, through the power of their devices, and through the power of what's happened with HTML and Java and all the web-based languages. It's absolutely amazing. So why are we so worried about web-based apps? And again, it comes down to because of experience. They've always been hard work.
It's because of structure. The structures aren't built properly.
Yeah,
so
but they should
do we
be,
have
right?
headings, of course,
buttons,
100%.
edit forms.
But
It
that's
should be
the point.
amazing
They're not
on WhatsApp.
But I'm not talking about WhatsApp, though. I'm talking more generally about web apps. The reason people are so nervous about them is because you get a web app and there's no headings, or the links are actually buttons, or the buttons are actually links, or nothing makes sense structurally.
No
and
regions,
there are
landmarks.
guidelines for this stuff. I don't understand why. I mean, I kind of do, because I don't think any coders actually, I said this years ago or months ago, I don't think coders are actually ever taught about accessibility. I don't think it's part of the curriculum or part of the structure of their education when they're training. So how would they know, other than hearing us talk about it?
Maybe.
I don't know. I really don't know. Anyway, look, we're going to take a short break. We'll come back. More comments from you, because loads of people get in touch on the inbox. I want to get to more of your comments right after this.
Get in touch with Double Tap. Email feedback@doubletaponair.com. Leave us a voicemail at 1-877-803-4567. And now you can send an audio or video message to us on WhatsApp. That number is 1-613-481-0144.
Okay, let's get back to the inbox. And Shahzad's been in touch for the first time, sending a message via WhatsApp. I'm wondering if it's the new updated WhatsApp, Shahzad. But great to hear from you. I want to hear your message, or play your message, because I think this cuts to the heart of the issue that I was talking about yesterday when it comes to updates and changes to all these apps.
Hello, Stephen and Shaun. This is my first test on sending a WhatsApp chat to you.
Hey!
I agree what Steve said. I feel that everything is becoming more and more hard for blind people to do things naturally. I feel that everything is going web-based, as Google has done that with their Gmail as well. So they're making things more harder rather than making life easier for blind people. I hope Shaun had his cataract operation successfully, and I hope he is feeling well. But you, Stephen and Shaun, always make me laugh. I always enjoy the show, but Stephen, I would like to tell you that the newsletter and the feed do not work successfully on the Blind Share Classic 2. Can you please resolve this issue? This is Shahzad Bukhari from Birmingham. Bye.
Got another thing I need to do now. Honestly, what am I in charge of the internet?
Stopped working now, Stephen Scott. What's happening? Everything's breaking down here.
I will say yesterday we had a bit of an issue as well, because the podcast that went up yesterday onto the feed was I think it was the day before. That caused a bit of consternation. Some people said it was because I was so angry yesterday that I was just bashing around on the computer.
Rage posting,
just post that, send that. There might have been some truth in that. But anyway, it's fixed very quickly. Thank you to our audience who are so on it. On it. It's like literally within a minute of the show being published, there I was getting emails and messages.
I was there when the Spanish show went out, when we were in Birmingham, when we were doing some editing.
I know.
And then your phone just started going beep, 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 beep.
Wouldn't believe it, would you? Wouldn't believe it. But
we listen
brilliant.
to feedback, I tell you.
We do, and we fix it as much as we can. Ironically, on a show titled Fix It Now, it was wrong.
I know that title. Yes, I just laughed.
It was broken. But no, Shahzad. Okay, well, look. First off, regarding the Blind Shell Classic 2, not entirely sure what's going on there, but we will look into that. We have heard a few people who are using the Blind Shell Classic having issues with the feed and adding the feed to the device. It is possible to do it on the Blind Shell Classic, so there are some workarounds we're kind of working on, and stay tuned because we will have more on this coming up in the next couple of weeks. So just a bit of patience with us. I know I'm sounding exactly like every other company.
We'll fix it later.
Yeah, we'll fix it later. Yeah. But there is not so much a fix, but there's a something coming that I think you might be pleased about. Yes. So just stay with us on this. I promise you might like what you're going to hear.
Very good.
More on that to come. But yeah, I mean, exactly what Shahzad's talking about there. There is a fear. And it's often the case that, and I know like Jaws, for example, has done a lot of work on, training people on how to use Gmail in this new web. And a lot of the companies are doing that, and that's good. And there's a lot of training going on, and that's important. Again, it's understanding the cognitive side of it. Sometimes it's just like, I feel like I've climbed a mountain to get to somewhere, and now I have to climb another mountain again. That's my issue.
No, of course. And it is an issue. I get that. But then...
How's Reaper going for you, for example?
Yeah, but no, look, that's exactly what I was going to actually say.
Oh, there you go.
I mean,
see, we're so in tune, aren't we?
We are. It's lovely. We learn new stuff all the time. And it is, it's challenging, especially when you bang accessibility into the mix as well. Mm-hmm. It is challenging. That isn't my issue. Hey, here's the new Outlook, and you got to learn it. I don't care about that. Yes, I've got something else to try and learn, and I'm frustrated because I can't get this to work. I care about, is it actually possible? Is it working? Is it accessible? I don't care, you got to do it a different way now. You know what? That's annoying. That's the way of tech. Everything changes. You got to learn a new way to do things. I don't care about that. I care if it's actually been thought about when it comes to accessibility. So the new Gmail, the new Outlook, you know what? I've seen lots of people post, yeah, it's fine. From an accessibility point of view, it's fine. I prefer it. So I'm still stuck in the. I haven't taken the time to learn the new way to use the new Outlook in my case. So I'm still Outlook Classic all the way. But as long as they put the thought into the accessibility, I'm not annoyed by that.
Yeah, and the way I look at it with Microsoft,
you do see the difference, though, right?
Yeah, I do, and I think that it's about. I think I would go one stage further than that. I would say. It's not just so much about is it accessible, because that's an interesting question in itself. I mean, yes, there's accessible and there's usable. And actually in the WhatsApp app in particular on Windows, the issue is more around efficiency.
Yeah,
being able to move around the app and do things quickly. That may not be as possible with a WhatsApp app that's been rebuilt in a web wrapper.
I don't agree.
Okay, well, I mean, we'll know. We'll know when it comes out.
We will know. Yes.
We will know. But
there's absolutely no technical reason why that couldn't be just as efficient as using the NVDA add-on or the Lisi script for Jules.
Well, Scott said earlier he doesn't know if it's possible to do that. Would it be possible for someone like Brian? And he has written a letter, I think. He's published his own statement on this.
Yeah, Brian's email was fantastic, by the way. And I totally endorse that,
Yeah.
Even though I said, let's wait until it comes out. To get in touch with Meta right now during the beta process and say, look, these are our concerns. And Brian went into detail on his sample email, and it was absolutely fantastic. Everyone should send that. Absolutely. I don't have an issue with that whatsoever. But with Lisi, will anyone, any script writer for a screen reader be able to, do the same thing with the web-based version of WhatsApp? What my point is, you shouldn't have to. You should be able to hit E to jump to the message field. You should be able to press B to jump to the audio record button, D to jump through the various regions between the conversation list and the message history. I'm saying they're already there. It's a case of, are they going to implement
hang on. They're not already there. They need to be implemented first. That's the point.
No. Yeah,
you're saying is shoulda, but shoulda, woulda, coulda, right? I mean, it's like,
but that's what I'm
so
saying.
what? I mean, it's like, of course it should. But how many websites are actually accessible fully? I mean, what was that study recently? Was it the WebAIM survey? And it comes out every year.
Yes.
And it says, like 90% of the web is inaccessible or something like that. And it's like, yeah, I get it. I understand that. And it's not even like, the other thing is, this is the second part of this for me. It's not even just that, is it accessible? Is it accessible all the way through? So like a store, for example, may have an accessible storefront, but then you can't check out. That's a classic example.
No, it's the same thing. Then it fails the accessibility check. It's not accessible.
Yes, but the point is
that
accessibility. When are we finding that out? It's when a blind person goes and tries to use it.
Well, it should be during the beta process.
100%. But and sometimes it is. That's the frustration. It's like, by the way, this doesn't work. And they go, yeah, okay, fine. Yeah. Just post that update. Okay, great.
It's only going to affect 2 people, I'm sure. They'll probably think, it doesn't actually.
Yeah, who cares?
And,
here's Nolan, a comment from Nolan I want to play in, because he's having some issues as well.
I agree with you, Stephen, 100%.
No.
With what you and Shaun were both talking about today. I feel your pain because I was experiencing the same issue that you had last week. Within communication, within the Meta AI app, formerly known as MetaView, whenever you link your phone, WhatsApp, Facebook / Messenger, and Instagram accounts, Voiceover lags in a very bad way, meaning it gets stuck. I had to attempt to turn Voiceover off and back on last week. And also, same thing happened with the Microsoft website today, using Safari on both macOS and on iOS. I was not pretty happy with this because it was loading way too much stuff. A lot of stuff came up on the website. I was trying to go in and close my Microsoft accounts. Well, I've sent them an email this morning to support@microsoft.com. I've not heard anything back. They're not getting back with me in a timely fashion. I need somebody on this case immediately to help me with this problem, because this has got to stop. This is becoming a real problem. This is also becoming an issue with us blind users, whereas websites are starting to become inaccessible, non-ADA compliant. I'm fed up with Meta. I'm fed up with Microsoft. Meta and Microsoft, both of you suck. Goodbye.
Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, I get it, Nolan. I get it. I get the frustration because I feel the same way.
We can hear it. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, look, let's be honest about it. Who hasn't wanted to chuck a Windows computer out a window at some point in their
I believe
lives?
he was having issues with the Mac there as well.
Yeah, but let's just focus on
Microsoft
Windows for a minute.
website.
Yeah, but let's just focus on the Windows because it's more fun. Even Satya Nadella has probably wanted to chuck a computer out a window at some point. I almost guarantee that. I'd love to do that interview and ask that question first. Probably the last question I'd get away with.
Wouldn't admit it. We feel your pain. Do you know what's more frustrating than that is when you're having an issue, but someone else will say, "Oh no, mine's fine."
Oh, that comes up a lot. Yeah,
it makes it even more difficult. I find that sometimes it's changing the voice on your screen reader even can make a difference. Why would that be? Why a different voice and suddenly I don't get the lag? I don't know specifically what your problem here is, browser change. I honestly don't know, but yeah, I can totally hear your pain. And do you know what? When it comes to Meta Ray-Bans as well, it was when I was going for my cataracts lasering, which was fine, by the way. Thank you.
Yes, we wanted to go back to that. Yeah, so
we did.
Are you all right?
I think, yeah, it was all cool, all gravy, nice and easy procedure. It was fine. Didn't make any difference, but the actual procedure was fine. Okay. But when I got out of the taxi driver very nicely said, "Do you want me to give you a hand getting to the door?" I said, "No, it's fine. I'll find my own way." Got out and I did a WhatsApp call to my daughter. And it just said, "Yeah, connect to WhatsApp to make this happen." So, wait, I mean, it was yesterday. I mean, it was this morning, and now it's not. The consistency with the Meta AI app with the Ray-Bans is so annoying. And so many times I see on social media, it's saying I can't make a call, or it won't answer my AI, or it won't play the music anymore. And it's always, turn it off, turn it on again, or repair it, do a factory reset, and set it up as fresh. And then it works. And the trouble is, why is that? Why, Sarah went out the other day taking the dog out on her own when I wasn't very well. And she's got anxiety about that. And the Meta Ray-Bans have really helped, where she could just call or, get some assistance. But I'm thinking, if it comes out and it says, oh, you need to connect to WhatsApp, she's going to freak out. She's not going to know what to do.
But can I tell you something? That is the average experience. This is the problem sometimes when we get wrapped up in the whole nerd thing, right? Where it's we'll just battle through and we'll figure it out. Or, the people who've been telling me on Mastodon that I'm just a whinger and moaner because I'm like, oh, come on, it'll all be fine. It'll be fine, or there's ways around it, or we'll figure it out, or we'll find our workarounds. And it's like, yeah, you will. Good for you. Congratulations, you're a smart person who figured it out. For the rest of us, that's not the case. We'll panic, or we'll try and find something else.
Yeah.
Or we'll just not use it. Because, do you know what? It's not working. Not using it. Why would it? Because a lot of people don't live consumed by tech. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
Right? So they're like, it doesn't work, not interested. And how many times have we noticed this with our wives, our partners, friends who've said, tried that, didn't work?
Yeah, exactly.
And you might be thinking, God, if you just did that, or if you just had a bit more patience, it's like,
if you just opened it, then find the communications bit, and then go on to WhatsApp, and then I know it says it's connected, but disconnect it, and then
reconnect it. And you go, and the response is, but why should I need to? It should work, and that's the problem. That's
and if you can't
the
rely on
expectation
it
of
being
tech.
there 100%, then is it actually worthwhile?
Well, look, on that point, actually, I want to bring in a message from Jim, which we might be able to help Jim out with this one.
Hello, this is Jim, and I'm in Florida. And I didn't know if anyone had mentioned this before, but sometimes when I use Be My Eyes with my Meta glasses, my phone starts counting down the time. And sometimes it's hard to communicate with the volunteer on Be My Eyes because I'm hearing how many minutes and seconds that I'm on the call. It's kind of awkward, especially since you're trying to use Be My Eyes hands-free. So I wondered if anyone pointed that out and if anyone has a workaround other than shutting off your speech. Thank you for doing such a great show. And again, this is Jim from Florida.
Thanks, Jim. I had to cut your message a little bit short because, unfortunately, the audio wasn't great. I couldn't quite hear all you were saying. So please get back in touch with your further questions. But regarding that one, this is the bane of my life. This happens to me all the time. Usually when I'm calling you, and I'll say, hang on a minute, hang on, because it's talking all over you. Can't hear a thing.
This is so apt, actually, talking about getting feedback from our feedback. This is actually an iOS issue with the calls. So something to do with the calls API, where VoiceOver will just constantly shout out while you're in a call. And that's what Be My Eyes basically sees that as. So there is no workaround at the minute. I'm hoping it's going to be fixed in an update. Maybe in iOS 26, this will be fixed. But the only way around it currently is to mute your speech. So whenever I'm doing it's so annoying, right? Because I got my Ray-Bans on and I say, Be My Eyes. And it's, oh, this is so cool. And then it's like, oh, wait, I've got to turn my speech off. So I got to touch my phone, do a three-finger double tap to mute your VoiceOver, and that's the only workaround at the minute. It's annoying. It's
just ridiculous, isn't it? It's so silly. And the thing is, I mean, one thing I've done sometimes is just turn the phone off, but that doesn't always work either because for whatever reason in the pocket, even sometimes it will activate it again and it just
turn the phone off. Oh, you mean lock?
Yeah, just lock the phone. Yeah, just
lock
press
the phone.
Power button.
Yeah, I do that as well. Yeah, but sometimes it will still do it through that. Yeah,
because it's like so sensitive. It's like, you know, like you're trying to not wake your partner up at night.
Yeah,
you know, it's like creeping round the edge of the bed.
I'm wondering if you can set an activity.
Well, yeah, I was thinking that. Is there some way we could automate it to shut itself up?
But you wouldn't want to do that, right? Because it'd have to be very specific. Only when I'm in a Be My Eyes call do I want VoiceOver to be muted. And then when I end the call, I want the VoiceOver to unmute because you want it back afterwards. So I'm not sure if that's possible.
It's all these other interactions you have to do, you know, in amongst. And of course, if you connect to someone, then they're talking and you can't hear them and it's hang on a minute and you know, and my phone's my favorite is when I call someone who's sighted and I say hang on, everything's talking, and they're like, what's talking? What are you talking about?
Yeah, I know.
And I'm like, yeah, my phone's talking.
I say that all the time when I'm out and someone will say morning or whatever, and I say, oh, sorry, my glasses are talking to me. It's like people that okay. Like, that is a weird thing to say. Yeah, I didn't even think about it.
It's the funny thing about the Meta Ray-Bans. It's the first time I've actually started listening to things when I'm out and about. I feel confident enough to kind of listen to a podcast or whatever as I'm walking around. only when I'm obviously walking around, not if I'm going somewhere where I don't have to cross roads. And when I'm walking to the shop, for example, I don't have to cross any roads.
Yeah.
So I can just follow my path and go. And I'm quite comfortable with that. It's kind of nice because it's open air. I can still hear, people can still talk to me or on the way by, and I just tap on the glasses to pause it. That's quite nice, actually. That's quite pleasant. And it's funny because I know a lot of people do that, right? They go out running or they go out walking, they listen to a podcast, and nothing I could never do that before.
Yeah.
And it's because of the open air speaker system. I feel quite comfortable doing that.
Well, you've
don't
had
do all the time, but I
shops
do
before.
enjoy it.
I mean, bone conduction.
The head rattlers. No, I can't do them.
Okay, fair enough.
Can't do head rattlers. I want to help out Awaz, who got in touch with us, because this is something I don't think we can help him with, as in you and I, but I think our double tappers can. Let's hear from Awaz.
Awaz from Pakistan. Hope you're doing well. I wanted to discuss the current situation of the keyboards, especially on Android. In the past, we used to type quickly with Gboard by using the Gshvo screen reader, the Chinese screen reader actually, if you are familiar with that. We used to suspend the browser touch and then directly shoot the keys. It would type the keys, that respective characters, and announce. But now it doesn't seem to work anymore after the latest updates of Gboard. And after Android 14, we can't install the very old version of the Gboard. So we are stuck with the slow typing now. So do you guys have any solutions other than Braille keyboard? Because I don't want to use it. Like, it doesn't fit my preferences, I would say. So please give me your suggestions, and any kind of solutions will be appreciated.
So if you can help out Awaz, do let us know. Get in touch in all the usual ways. I want to give final word today to Gregory.
Hello, Stephen and Shaun, especially Shaun. I was just listening to your rant about putting all the armor, gloves, knee pads, going out and attacking the lawn and garden. Oh, by the way, this is Gregory. Anyway, I appreciate that so much because it just shows the world that even though we can do everything, we can do it all, we are the world's best, shall I say, multitaskers. But I can sure relate to doing something like that and then bashing my head in, or my knees or shins, just giving up, pins going in and resting and licking my wounds and then going back out and trying it again. So that is so real world of what we go through as blind people. It's pretty cool. It's true. So thanks for including that in the podcast. So thanks again. This is Gregory. I really appreciate your podcast with all the crap going on these days. So have a good one. Thank you.
Thanks, Gregory. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah, well, that's one thing you can always say about Double Tap. We're always honest. Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
We don't hold much back.
No, I think it's almost a perfect metaphor, that particular scenario where you were going out to the garden and bashing your head in and you got to try again. It feels almost like the entire conversation we've just had over the past couple of days kind of wrapped up in one example where it's like, well, we're going to bash our head, but we know we still got to go out and do it. You know?
Exactly. I'll come back to it. We'll do it again.
Or we get another pair of eyes on it. That's the only other option we've got. That's basically the end result. Listen, we've had so much feedback, so much great feedback on WhatsApp, on email. I really do appreciate it. It is great. We're going to probably talk more about this issue in the coming days and months, but I think let's all test this beta, because you can go and get it from the Windows Store. You can go and download WhatsApp beta, and the update to the new UI, the new user interface, is available. So you can go try it. I've downloaded it.
Yeah.
And we'll test it out. Now, it is a beta, So let's remind ourselves of that. You know, it's a bit like the iPhone thing. I've not been talking about that because, you know, to me it's pointless. Too many things are changing. I mean, goodness me, if you were a fan of liquid glass, you would think, you know, that you had been shortchanged because, you know, it had gone away. Now apparently it's back, and it's like, I don't care personally at all. But that's all I'm reading about is this, you know, this constant shifting sands about what is considered liquid glass. Is it frosted glass? Is it just regular glass?
Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Who cares?
I know. I couldn't care less. But that's the point, right? You know, it's just these changes are coming along all the time. So we never know how this will actually settle down until release. But if you want to go check it out and try it, let's maybe, you know, as a group together, let's, you know, go and help Meta out with this one.
Let's see if we're right to be worried or not.
Let's see if they'll listen again.
I've downloaded it as well, and we're going to test it.
That is it for today. We're back tomorrow with lots more. Tons of your feedback. We're going to dig into some of the older emails we've been getting. We haven't had a chance to get to, so we'll get into those tomorrow on the show. Loads more news besides on the next Double Tap. Thanks for listening. Thanks for getting in touch. Take care, Shaun.
Thank you. Bye-bye.